Recording here. So this is our introduction to two-point perspective. You're going to see really quickly, I'll show you why we need this big sheet of paper, okay? But the first thing you're going to do when you come in for the next few weeks is you're going to take a piece of paper and we want to tape this down onto the bigger sheet of paper. Our main drawing is going to be on this page. But for reasons I'm about to show you, the vanishing points will not be on the page. You'll never have both vanishing points on the page, and probably rarely would you have one on the page even, okay? And I'll show you why, okay? But to get started, so there's a little bit of procedure, and you guys can do this with me if you want, but because our eye level is going to extend off the page, we don't want this paper slipping around everywhere, right? We want it locked down. And so I had you pick up two little pieces of tape. They don't have to be very big. It's very important that you have two, and I'm putting them on my clothes to get a little lint so they're easy to take off later. I'm making removable tape, okay? But you just want to put a piece of tape on either side of the page. And I'm not sticking it down very hard, but we don't want our paper to wiggle at all. We want to keep it locked in, and so two pieces of tape locks it down. Does that make sense? So that's why you need the tape. We're still going to do an eye level just like we've done before. And again, I'm going to have you watch. I don't want you, I know it's going to take some focus, but I believe in you guys. You can do it. But just watch for a minute, and then I'll do this, and then I'll turn off the video, and you guys can do it, okay? But just like what we've done before, we're going to establish where our eye level is first. And I'm going to put my eye level, I've put my page on here vertically. That was intentional. I'm going to put my eye level about 4 inches from the top of the page. But this time when I do my eye level, I'm going to take it fairly far. And I'm going to extend it. I'm not sure how far I need to go at this point, so I'm just going to make it nice and level, right? But this is why you have the drawing board. These papers fit on the drawing board. And that way you have a flat surface that's the size of your paper, so you don't have to worry about things going off or being twisted. So it's good to have the drawing board. But now I have a really big horizon line. And I'll talk about that in a second. But everyone knows what we've done so far, right? This line, while it's just a line, actually has a tremendous amount of meaning. It means whoever's viewing this is their eye level. It means that anything below this is ground. So we've just created the earth, right? Anything above this is sky. So we've created a whole world with a single line. I think that's pretty cool. Now what we need to do is decide where the viewer is going to be viewing it from. And we call that the line of sight. I'm going to label things. I think it's a good habit to be in. Here's my eye level. I know it's a little fuzzy, but it's there. Eye level, okay? And then we need a vertical line that's going to serve as our line of sight. I'm going to just put that somewhere near the middle of the page. I use my right angle to make sure it's perfectly vertical, and then I'll use my ruler just to extend it up. So this line is my line of sight. And now what we've done is we've locked our viewer right here. Everything to the right is to the right, everything to the left is to the left, everything above, everything below, right? We've said this is the point of view where we're viewing this image from, okay? What's the third thing we need to figure out? We know our X, we know our Y. We do need our vanishing points. There's something else we have to do first. Cone of vision is also part of this, but we have to do something first.
Find out how far away the picture is.
Yeah, we still haven't determined. We know he's here. We just don't know how close or how far, right? And we determine that with what's called the station point. I have to do some thinking right now before I decide the station point. Here's the problem with 1 point versus 2 point perspective. Okay, watch this. This is really important. Okay, we talked about this in 1 point perspective, but if you have a square, this is a square, right? And if it's right at your eye level, you literally see nothing, right? But as you come down and move it below, it starts to be more and more of a perfect square, right? And the station point is where this becomes a perfect square. Does that make sense to everybody? That fundamental truth affects everything we're about to do, okay? So what I have to figure out, and here's the reality, in 1 point perspective, our cube was like this, like perfectly just flat and the lines moving away from us. In 2 point perspective, what we're doing is we're rotating the cube. So now the cube isn't moving straight away from us, but from the station point, the two vanishing points have to be at a right angle. Does that make sense? Because now this is we're at the station point, this is a square, and I have one set of lines that are going this way and one set of lines that are going that way. And so if my station point is down here at the bottom of the page and I have a 90 degree, I'm just going to put a vanishing point here down. I'm going to invent it. I'm just going to say here is VP, and I'm going to call it VP1 because it's the first one I drew. If I come straight to this line and then change here at a right angle, the other vanishing point has to be 90 degrees. Does that make sense? Like the vanishing points aren't just magically placed. They're always 90 degrees from each other. So if I move this over, it's like twisting my cube a little bit. I now have a vanishing point here, and the other one has to move with it. They're a team. They work together. Does that make sense? Like that's the whole logic of this, okay? So what I have to do, though, is if I know my station point has to be on my line of sight. So if I put my station point here, then my other vanishing point is going to be here. Okay, off the page. See how my vanishing points don't even fit on the page? And my station point is still ridiculously close to my eye level. And what does that affect? The cone of vision. So if I put my station point here, my cone of vision would be teeny. I'd have to do all of my drawing really small. And so I want to move my station point as far away as I possibly can to give myself more room to draw without things being distorted. Does that making sense? Let's just for the sake of it, let's say this is what I decided to do, okay? I'm going to put my station point right here. Here's my station point. That means I have a vanishing point 2 right here. Okay? So if I'm this far away, this is where my vanishing points would be. Makes sense, right? So cone of vision, we all have this cone of vision sticking out of our face. We just don't realize it. But anything inside of 60 degrees we can see. Anything that's outside gets distorted and weird, okay? And so I'm not gonna have you guys draw the cone of vision because it just gets a little confusing in its extra lines. But you need to be aware that it's there. And this actually isn't too bad. But this is basically our head. Here's your nose, here's your feet, shoulders. This is us looking into this world. And if I take the compass and just kind of complete this, anything inside of this circle I drew is going to look pretty decent. Okay? But anything that gets outside of that circle is going to be really weird. And the further I move the station point back, the bigger that circle gets. Does that make sense? And so that's why you need another sheet of paper so that we can have room to scoot back. We could do our drawing from here and it'd be fine, but just for kicks, I'm going to give ourselves a little bit more space here. So I'm going to erase that vanishing point, and I'm going to erase this station point real quickly to just show you what happens when I move back. So if I move back to here, so I still have this vanishing point, and what I've said, the second I put that vanishing point there, I've said this cube is rotated at exactly this angle, right? So anything we draw, it's going to be rotated like that. And if you wanted to change it, you could create a new set of vanishing points. And I can actually, you guys want to see something real quick? So here's a drawing from last semester. My students challenged me to draw the Rubik's Cube, but with the Rubik's Cube rotated at different angles. And so each one of these layers has its own set of vanishing points, but they're all calculated. And so you can rotate things, but you have to rotate all of the vanishing points together, right? Don't worry about that, but some of you that might make sense. Okay, so, but let's redo this. So I've got a new station point down here at the bottom of my page. So I'm backing up a little bit, and I can draw this line, okay, from that vanishing point to the station point. And then we know that the other vanishing point has to be a 90-degree angle from that. It has to be 90 degrees. My triangle's not quite long enough. That's not a problem, because I can just use my ruler to extend it a little bit. And so my new vanishing point is right here. So now this is my VP number 2. So I have VP1, VP2, and a station point that's farther away. And let's see how much bigger that made my cone of vision. So now my cone of vision is even a little bit further. And so that circle that I drew before, now it's all the way to the edge of my paper. That just gives me a lot more room to draw, right? So now I can draw all of my boxes inside of that circle, and they won't be distorted and weird. Have I lost anyone? Is that making sense? Okay. So I'm not going to have you guys set up the cone of vision. I just want you to know it's a real thing. And we want to back up as far as we can. But in order to back up far, we have to keep our vanishing points not close together. They have to spread out a little bit. Does that make sense? Okay. So, but when you come in to set up a drawing, this is what you do. You get your eye level, you get your line of sight, and then you determine your vanishing points and your station point. You need all of this to get started. Like, this is just setting up the world. Does that make sense? Okay. I'm gonna call that it for this video. So I want to break it down into some smaller steps. So we'll go on to the next thing, but I want everyone to try to set this up. Okay. So get your piece of paper, get your eye level, your line of sight, get your vanishing points and your station point, make sure everything's working.